Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Cortensia Carty.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of GMSKN. We proceed now to the latest in local news. This from SKNIS. The Federation is one step closer to accessing a $40 million Green Climate Fund grant for transitioning the water supply in St. Kitts and Nevis to the low-carbon, climate-resilient sector, also known as the St. Kitts and Nevis Transwater Project. This was recently announced by the Honorable Dr. Doyle Clark, Minister of Environment and Climate Action. Dr. Clark expressed thanks to all for their continued support in mobilizing the ministry to adopt and move forward with the government's agenda for the transformation to a sustainable island state. St. Kitts and Nevis Transwater Project is a cross-cutting climate-resilient development project that is the first of its kind in the water sector in the Federation. The project seeks to reduce the Federation's carbon footprint and increase climate resilience and sustainability for the water supply sector. It prioritizes and directly and tangibly supports the implementation of outputs and activities from 5 of 6 investment programs identified in the Federation's Water Adaptation Plan. The GCF grant financing will facilitate the mainstreaming of low-carbon, climate-resilient water supply systems and will strengthen capacity for their management by the Water Services Department, Nevis Water Department, SCELEC, and NEVLIC, as well as improve population knowledge on the capacity for climate-resilient WASH WASH, that is, water, sanitation, and hygiene.
Our second story comes from Win Media SKN. The Antioch Baptist Church recognized late sisters of the church, Eunice Brown, Gemalise Bristol, and Dawn Mills for their contributions to the ministry. Following a Thanksgiving service on Sunday, March 11th, 2023, the church gathered around a newly erected monument at the church where the names of the departed sisters are memorialized. The monument was named the Eunice Brown Memorial Prayer Garden in honor of Eunice, who was a devoted prayer warrior and songstress. Lead pastor Mr. Lincoln Connor said, it is the church's way of reminding those who come to this facility of the importance and the necessity of prayer. A plaque was unveiled by her son Jonathan Brown and 2 other church members. The plaque reads, "Our dedicated leader, teacher, counselor, intercessor, and friend. Your passion for prayer inspires us all to pray more, pray for others, and pray persistently." Additionally, a memorial bench was erected at the Eunice Brown Prayer Garden in honor of Dawn Mills. The unveiling was done by her friend Diana Prentice. The bench reads, "In memory of Dawn P. Phillips, a worshiper." Another memorial bench was unveiled at the prayer garden in honor of Gemalise Bristol. Her widower, Deacon Marlon Bristol, and their son, Ethan Bristol, did the unveiling. The bench reads, "In memory of Gemalise Doris Bristol, we are inspired by your faith."
Just the other day, I was remembering Dawn, and I knew Eunice very well because we were on the worship together, and Dawn was a very close friend of mine, so this is great. All right, moving on from Win Media SKN, the CARICOM Secretariat recently launched, okay, take 2. CARICOM, thank you very much, guys. The CARICOM Secretariat recently launched the CARICOM Skilled Workers Program, which provides opportunities within the CARICOM Single Market and Economy CSP. Over the initial 2 weeks following the launch on March 6th, forgive me, all right, some difficulties there. Over the initial 2 weeks following the launch on March 6 weeks, this story, I apologize. All right. We'll take a break. We'll be back in a moment with more GMSK.
no cash, no card, no problem. JAD. Embrace the freedom.
Yo, what up? It's your boy N Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this morning's edition of Good Morning SKN as we continue with the latest in regional news. This from Loop Caribbean. Journalist Laura Trevlin announced that she is leaving the British Broadcasting Corporation, that's BBC, to join the growing movement for reparatory justice for the Caribbean. Trevlin announced her departure from the BBC on Twitter. She wrote, "A new chapter is starting for me. After 30 incredible years at the BBC, I'm leaving tomorrow to join the growing movement for reparatory justice for the Caribbean." Thank you to my beloved colleagues and to our amazing audience. I can't be more grateful for you all. The move comes a few weeks after Trevlin and members of her family apologized to the people of Grenada for their ancestors' role in the enslavement of over 1,000 Africans at their 3 plantations on the island. Trevlin has agreed to contribute $100,000 to support an education and economic development fund in Grenada. The funds will come from her BBC pension. The University of the West Indies will administer the fund. In 1835, the Trevlin family received £26,898, more than $3 million today, as compensation for the freedom of their slaves. Trevlin has received support from her friends and colleagues at the BBC.
And on the international scene, this from BBC News. Argentina's inflation rate has soared past 100% for the first time since the end of hyperinflation in the early 90s. Inflation hit 102.5% in February, the country's statistics agency said, meaning the price of many consumer goods has more than doubled since 2002. Argentina has been in economic difficulty for years, and many people now live in poverty. Its government has been trying to stem price rises by capping the prices of food and other products. But the food and drink sector saw the most dramatic increase recently, with prices growing by 9.8% in February compared to January. Argentinian media said that this increase could partly be due to a sharp hike in the price of meat, which rose by almost 20% in the space of a month. Adverse weather conditions, a prolonged heat wave, and a drought seriously impacted livestock and crops, said local news outlet Envito. Although the symbolism of the inflation rate shooting up past 100% is striking, the effects of soaring inflation have long been felt in Argentina. Last September, protesters took to the streets to demand action to counter rising costs of living, and in February, Argentina's central bank said that a new 2,000 peso banknote would be issued in response to the jump in consumer prices. Well, that's all we have for the latest for today. We'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moen Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Good morning, SKN. Wagwan. Yo, this Ben's Lad coming to you live from Jamaica. You see it, go already. See me, I say Caribbean people stand up and I love this. This show is very important. You understand me? Yeah, man. Studio 327. Ben's Lad, a big up. See me, I say. I'm the whole innocent crew. Yeah, man. More love.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Our first guest for today, Ms. Carla Asafan, chairperson of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Reparations Committee, is joining us as we discuss the topic of reparations for the Caribbean. Good morning, Carla, and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. Good morning, Jamie.
Always our pleasure. So I will begin with the explanation. What is reparation?
Well, reparations is the repair for wrongs that have been done. As you know, our ancestors were enslaved and stolen from Africa, brought to the New World, and enslaved, okay? That was a crime against humanity. So we, the reparations committees, the government, initially in 2014, set up a CARICOM Reparations Commission, and all the governments of the region are on board that the time is right for us to ask of these European countries that benefited from slavery to compensate the descendants of slavery. Okay, so basically the CARICOM Reparations Commission was formed and they created the 10-point plan, which outlines an economic developmental plan for the region based on the needs of the region. Okay, so when compensation, I don't want to say if, but when we get compensation, when we get reparations, then those things will be addressed. Okay, so that's.
I have to ask, following up on what you said, Carla, how close do you think we are to receiving that compensation? I think it's been a long journey, hasn't it?
Yes, it is a long journey. And just recently we had, I just listened to your news. You would have talked about Laura Trevelyan. Of course, she is a private citizen, okay? And just to explain how that came about. A few years ago, the University College of London put out the British legacies of slavery. They did a study, and a family member of hers decided to key in the name Trevelyan, okay? And this is how they discovered that in their hidden history was the fact that they owned these estates in Grenada at the time of abolition, that they were involved in slavery, and they benefited, they were compensated by Britain for the loss of their enslaved, for 1,006 enslaved people. He called other members of the family, including Laura, and as she said, she did not know what to do with that information. But I guess it kept pricking her until she wrote a letter to someone in Grenada, and that is how it all started. The person, can't recall her name right now, but she welcomed Laura's initiative, and from there they spoke to Sir Hilary Beckles, and Hilary Beckles went on a Zoom with many family members. They, as you talked about, they've gone to Grenada and they've started this fund. And this new development of her actually giving up a job to focus entirely on it, it is a start. Many people talk about the fact that it's a drop in the bucket or it's a disrespect. It is, you know, it is a start. And what the family has said, they signed the apology, and what they've said, they're going to continue giving support. So there are different aspects. It's not just the £100,000, but more. There's more to come. There's more assistance that will be made to the people of Grenada, because there's no way we can pay for what has been done. So this is a start. And so this is why right at my fingertips, I pulled up on Legacies of British Slavery, which that site, ucl.ac.uk, and you key in St. Kitts. And here pops up 767 claims were paid out. Okay, there are about 1,000 records. So the first 50, and as I run through it, there was a Roger Woodburn who had 14 enslaved people. There was a Jane Somersill who had 8 enslaved people. There was a Watley who had 1 enslaved person, and the list goes on. Okay. Sometimes what I key in over 300 to get specific, or between 200 to 300, and you see the names of those who had a lot more. So this is something that you can do, any one of us can do. The site is there, again, ucl.ac.uk, and that is the site that the Trevelyan's went to and saw the information, right? So that's one aspect. So this is where it started, and I think what they have done is started the ball rolling. So other people, we haven't really heard of Caribbean people. Yes, we are looking to Europe. We are looking for the royals who have been involved. Just recently, even the Church of England came out and said, I think on the 9th of January, they issued a statement that they are creating a fund for their role in the slave trade, because in doing their investigation into their past, they found out that they benefited greatly from the slave trade and slavery. So the fund has been set up. I think it's £100 million. It's going to be paid over 9 years. They'll be adding to that fund over a 9-year period. So again, it is a start. When are the royal family of England going to come forward and give an apology? The King of England, we don't know as yet. They have skirted around the issue. No apology as yet. No talk of reparations. Even the Dutch recently made an apology, but they haven't spoken to a figure. Okay, but all of this is being calculated. There's a strong global movement that is being developed for reparations, and the more of us who come on board, the better the chances that reparations will be.
Understood.
Will come to, maybe not, maybe for your children or mine.
Do you think the monies that will be paid, or the land or whatever assets may be given, do you think it would be enough, including the apology, to compensate for what our ancestors went
Well, it can never be enough. It can never be enough. We cannot put our ancestors are gone. There's, what has happened is, in the wake of slavery, look at us today. The monies did not stay here. It did not help to develop us. We are struggling we are independent, yes, but where are we? When I'm on the train and I'm looking at our landscape, how do we get to the point where we can change our landscape from what it was, sugar, to something else more viable. You know, all of these islands, as Jamaica was, you know, when they became independent 60 years ago, there was high illiteracy for most of these islands. We struggled, and we continue to struggle, but we have done very well with very little help. So how much more would we be able to do to push us forward if we were able to get our reparations? Okay.
Let's talk briefly, caller, about the work of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Reparations Committee, your mission and your work today.
Okay, so far we have had, we started, the committee was set up in January, February 2020. Of course, you know what happened during 2020, but we were meeting on Zoom. By August of that year, we had a cultural celebration on the 1st of August in Independence Square. We did a media blitz that year as well. We have had a lot of plans that we have not put in forces yet. We've had some panel discussions. We've started off, one of the things we wanted to do was to every month focus on one aspect of the 10-point plan. So we started off with the apology. We did another, we have done another panel discussion as well. We had plans to do one during Black History Month. So those are the things. We want to do a lot of advocacy, going into the schools to talk to young people. We would love to see a youth arm of the reparations. We would like to encourage a groundswell of support for the reparations movement, because it's not something that has to come from above. We want for our people to be conscious of their history, so that they know that this is something that we need to do. I just got back from Jamaica. Okay, I don't know if that was your next question.
Yes.
Okay, so let me hear the question.
So
then.
what are some of the matters that were discussed during that forum?
Okay, so the Jamaica royal visit, African royal visit, and the CARICOM Reparations Commission symposium, it was quite an experience, okay? And it was done, the African royals were invited, and the reparations symposium was held in large part due to the fact that this year is the 75th anniversary of University of the West Indies, as well as it is the 10th year since CARICOM Reparations Commission was formed. Okay, so 2013 to 2023. I think I said 2014 earlier, so that helps me to correct myself. So it was done under the theme Royalty, Europe, and basically debunking the myths. Let me see, do you have the, I think, yeah.
Reparation and royalty.
Yes, reparation.
Africa and Europe. Exploding myths, empowering truth.
Right. So the role of the panelists, the people who gave presentations, was to debunk the myths. You know, we have always been told, oh, the Africans were implicit, they helped. Of course, as Dr. Hilary Beckles said in his speech, in his presentation, he likened slavery to our current narcotics trade, wherein there are people in positions who are able to let the drugs flow. So it is similarly, there were Africans, because guess what? We all know that Europeans went into Africa fully armed. Africa did not have the weaponry that the Europeans came with. And so it's a sort of survival, you could say. And as the Africans who spoke at that symposium said, their way of life, their communities were destroyed, okay? So they, some tried to save their people by, you know, helping in a sense, and others were totally destroyed. So it's basically, I said, guess that as humans, we want to survive. And so, you know, we can't just say, okay, Africa helped, and so, you know, they should pay reparations as well, and that sort of thing. So there's a lot that we have to, there's a lot. The fact is, one presenter, Dr. Ahmed Reid, he talked about the role of the royals and talked about the royal families and all, you know, the involvement. They looked at the other European countries as well. Okay, so you even had one presenter who talked about the Maroons, and I didn't even realize that in Jamaica there's a bit of a rift between Jamaicans and the Maroon communities, because, and I say that because I was recalling when I studied history, and I came upon the part where the Maroons signed a treaty with the English so that any new runaway slaves would be given back. It's like, really, you know? So that little piece, it seems it has resonated. It is on the thing. So it's on the treaty and everybody sees it, and it seems people feel a way about it. So that had to be debunked as well, because throughout, wherever there was maroonage, wherever human beings, in order to survive, you had to have some sort of treaties made. So it wasn't the first, you know, and it is something that we have to let go. But what happens is that our people keep focusing on these little things, and it's keeping us from the bigger picture, which is we all need to come together, because we all were affected by this trade. Okay, and so we all need to come together and let go of these things that are keeping us from unifying under this one goal of reparations.
This is a very alarming discussion. I say that because to hear you say that Sir Hilary Beckles compared slavery to the narcotics trade, it's something that I never looked at. So I thank you for opening my eyes to that, in the sense that thinking of how Africans could have been coerced into facilitating trade is something that I don't think that we've talked enough about or thought about. The point where it should negate our discussions of reparations.
Right. Well, we've you know, it is coming up quite a lot. And I remember one time being on an interview with our now deceased Washington Archibald, Mr. Washington Archibald, and he spoke about the fact that Africans, we were in a panel discussion, and on that particular day, I guess he was being a devil's advocate, and he talked about, and I was really mad with him. This is one of the times I was really mad with him. I remember us being up at the radio station, and I was really upset, you know? So it has been something that has been said before. Okay, but we have to understand, how do you fight? Just recently I looked at Njinga. Have you looked at it? It's a documentary on Netflix. And you saw how she wanted to save her people, you know, and the lengths she had to go to try and stop. They were stealing people, just, you know, they did not give up. From the Portuguese to then later on you had the coming of the Dutch. She even tried, she used the phrase, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, basically. So tried to work with the Dutch, but the Dutch also wanted slaves. All their focus was on getting and stealing Africans. And so how much did they want? One of the things she did was to become Catholic. You know, so you can look at the movie and you will get in, so that she could save her people, because she would be seeing the people all Catholic, so they don't want to take Catholic people with them. The Catholic Church was very implicit in all of this, you know, at that time in slavery. So as I said, we've heard the Church of England come forward. We've heard many years ago that the Catholic Church apologized. But there's a long way to go. There's a long way to go in all of this.
As we speak about apology, the two recent symposiums held in Grenada and Jamaica, are there any plans to host one in St. Kitts?
Well, I know in speaking with the royals, they would like to come to St. Kitts. They want to go to all of the islands. They would like to come to St. Kitts and Nevis. So that is something we will be looking at. We had a symposium in St. Kitts in 2015. To answer your question, it's the question that you asked. Is it a myth? Is it a, you know, like, when will we ever see it? Okay, so that was how many years ago? And now we see what's happening. So what we would like is to continue that push. And yes, we want to have panel discussions here. We would like to have a symposium here. and we'll see what happens as time goes on. Okay, I'm hoping that we will have some families, you know. I know that there's Kalonji, Ras Kalonji, he's part of the committee, and for years, I think Kalonji has like a Bible of information about a family who owned Brooks Estate and Cunningham Estate, and the compensation they got at the end, and there's actually a law firm and so on who collected those monies on behalf of the family. He's been pushing for that. So, you know, we are hoping, we have hopes, and we'll continue pushing and continue talking about it. Put in your family name, Jamie. See what I put in mine. I put in a name. I have put in a name, and because I was reading a book called Negmawa by Lennox Honeychurch. As you know, I'm from Dominica. And as I'm reading, I came across a name that I once carried, Birmingham. My father's mother was a Birmingham, and he carried her surname, and so I got that surname for a while. So there I'm reading the book, and I come across a Dr. Jean-Baptiste Birmingham, who was a colored planter and owned enslaved people, and quite wicked, they said, you know. And so when I got this site, I said, let me put in the name. And they popped up. By the time of abolition, one of his descendants had 10 enslaved people. So, you know, a lot of us are carrying names. I carrying names of people. Remember, our names were taken from us. That is also something that we need to repair. Our names, African names, were taken from us, and we were given these surnames that we now carry. And those are the surnames of people who were compensated. I've teased my friend Tatum, I came across, you know. So there's names like Atherton, there's all these different names that's there. And you can go into it yourself. So
hopefully by the next time we speak, I will be able to tell you what I discovered. I'll put both names in, and I'll see what I get.
Go through your ancestry. Go through your ancestry and see what happens. So, yeah, but it was very interesting being in Jamaica, meeting the royal, the traditional royal families. There's this ADO network, Ithaca International. So they are having a conference in Kenya in May. I'm hoping that, you know, CARICOM is hoping to send a team there, so that may be something that I get on. I'm not sure as yet. But they would like, what they want to do is bridge the gap, okay? Bridge the gap between there and here. Let us become used to, you know, welcoming them and they welcoming us. They would like to do a lot of exchanges, and this is what we would like to see happen. While I was in Jamaica, I actually spoke. I did a short presentation at a youth forum, Wagwan Africa, to the royals who welcomed, and I gave a presentation on behalf of the CARICOM Reparations Committee. Wow. So that was, yeah.
All right, the next time you come, we're going to have to talk about that.
Yes.
That must have been a really delightful experience. Thank you so much for joining us, Carla. It's always a pleasure to see you and to talk with you. And
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the time, and I will come again.
Please do. Okay. More Good Morning SKN in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
Okay.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
no cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Good morning, SKN and Studio 327. This is Tal Batiste, one of your biggest fans. Just you're doing a lot of things well. Keep on that trajectory. Greatness, greatness, greatness.
Cricket is one of the most popular sports here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And today we have the pleasure of being in the presence, albeit virtually, of a national cricket icon. 50 years ago, His Excellency El Camino T. Willett made history by being the first cricketer from the Leeward Islands to play for the West Indies cricket team. Last week, on March 9th, the Nevis Cricket Association coordinated a gala event dubbed Classy at 50 to celebrate this historic achievement. Today, it is indeed our pleasure to warmly welcome the distinguished cricketer, His Excellency El Camino Willett, to Good Morning SKN. Good morning, sir. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to have you here today.
Good morning. Thanks for the invitation.
You're certainly welcome. It has been 50 years, quite an achievement. I do need to have your take on this because 50 seems to have come and gone almost quickly. What is your take on it when you're looking back?
Well, I can't believe that 50 years has gone that quickly, really. You know, it seems more like 25. Half of 50.
Well, you barely look a day over 52, so I can understand.
Yeah, some folks say that I don't look older than 50, so they don't see how I'm celebrating 50 years of having made the West Indies team.
Precisely. I guess it runs in the genes and all of the fitness routines that you would have gone through and everything else.
Well, yeah, I need to get back into my exercise too. I've been kind of idle for the last month and a half or so.
Okay. So, Mr. Willett, let's speak about the indelible mark you would have made on the nation of, well, our federation, but more so Nevis. and even the Caribbean at large, being a cricketer?
Yeah, well, looking back, well, when I did make it, I didn't look at it as anything special, to be truthful. A man don't get excited about things. But, with the greetings and everything from persons over the years, I realized that I really would have made an indelible mark on persons. The turnout that we had at the gala was really, really good. They were catering for 150 persons, and they had to fit in another 50 or so, I think it was. And many persons wanted tickets but couldn't get. It's a pity we couldn't find a place to host 500 persons.
Well, I do have to ask now, so what are your thoughts about being honored in this way? As you rightly said, you were living your life, you never really thought about the acclaim that could come from these things, and people are really honoring you for all of your achievements. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a good feeling, but I said, I really don't get too excited about things, but it's a good feeling. I feel proud, to be honored in that way, with that gala, classy at 50. But I said, I take things as they come. I don't get too excited, really, but it's a good feeling to have been honored in that way.
Very lovely.
Did you have anything to do with the name? I'm just asking you. Classy at 50, it does have a nice ring to it. Can you be credited in any way with that?
If I can
be credited with the name of the gala in any way?
Well, it was 50 years since I made my debut, so I
You're
think
still classy.
That's classy at 50, It was a classy occasion, really,
So
good food and everything, good music, and so on.
You danced?
No, I didn't dance. I'm not a big dancer.
So you said
people were very excited. It was a classy occasion, really. The people were well dressed and so on. So people really came out, for the occasion. I took many, many pictures with persons after the dinner. There is a photo of me on a large screen, or not screen, large bit of material. I think it's something like cloth or something, but a really huge picture of me, and we took many, many, many photos there.
We just saw
in front of that.
Yeah, that's nice.
That screen.
Quite dapper, I should say.
Yeah, he matched the theme of it. So you said nothing really gets you.
I hope I did justice to it.
I didn't hear you, sorry?
No, I hope I did justice.
You sure did.
Classy at 50.
Certainly.
You said nothing really gets you excited. So what was... I would like to think that you would have been excited to start playing the game of cricket, or you must have had some kind of excitement because you loved cricket.
Well, when it comes to cricket, I started playing in the village with my old friends. I must have been 3 or 4 years old. We had a ground that we call the Bucko Park, not far from where I live, about 50 meters from where I live. And, we played there nearly every day. We played in the road and so on, Those days, it was all cricket. There was some football around, but I never really liked football. And we didn't have the other distractions and so on, like these young folks have now. The game things and so on. So it was basically cricket for us. We played cricket all over the place, all over the villages. We used to walk to different villages to challenge them, like Brownhill and Cotton Ground and Jessups, Paddock Road and so on. We played any little spot we found. We played cricket. Something there big trees around, but we didn't worry about that. It was all cricket.
I don't know if it's a thing with, I don't want to be, starting a war between St. Kitts and Nevis here, but my grandmother is Nevisian, and she loves cricket. So I was about to say, I don't know if it's a thing that Navitians just seem to love their cricket a little more than Kittitians do. What did you love most about cricket, though?
Well, you know, I really saw it as good fun. I was more of a bowler, but I did some batting too, and I really enjoyed bowling, you know, and like I was a spin bowler, and it was such fun to like draw batsmen down the pitch and leave them stranded and so on, to be stumped out and so on. You know, it was so exciting to like outfox some batsmen. Like there's a gentleman from St. Kitts that they call Greedy Libert. Was kind of greedy for us, and you know, I would tease him and he would come, and most times he's left stranded. You know, so you know, that was fun for me.
Okay.
Leaving batsmen stranded.
So he never really figured out, you know, what your technique was. I mean,
no,
never even
he
after a
never
little bit?
really.
Wow.
Pardon me? You know, Victor Eddie, he didn't try much, as I said at the holiday. He was very stubborn, Victor. I didn't get him out many times.
Okay.
But he never got many ones off of me because he was more cautious, you know.
Oh, I see.
You know,
Okay.
Victor had more patience than Stephen Libert, greedy.
So
man, just a little too greedy.
So you've got greedy and you've got patient. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Willett, we're going to take a short
Those
break.
days were really good days. You know, the fans, you know, were very excited. You know, people really used to come out those days to watch cricket.
Yes.
I remember when we started in Antigua, you had persons like 20 meters onto the field, something you're chasing ball, you know, between persons, you know, because, you know, the park was so filled with persons. They didn't have the stands and so on, all those stands and so on then. So persons basically on the field, you're running through the persons with the boundary 20 meters behind them.
Wow.
You know, and so
okay, that's imagery.
and you know, you would have heard of many stories of persons walking from Gingerland to town, from all over in St. James and so on, Newcastle and so on, walk into town to enjoy their cricket. You know, Navitians, you know, really like cricket. I think Navitians really liked cricket. We still have some persons who really like the game, but those days people are crazy about cricket.
I think my grandmother will echo your sentiments, sir. All right, we'll take a short break and we'll be back to continue our talk with you in a moment. Stay tuned, everyone. More GMS in the flash.
Okay.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango!
Today we have the absolute pleasure of speaking with the cricket icon, His Excellency El Camino Willett, who broke barriers by becoming the first person from the Leeward Islands to make it to the West Indies cricket team. So Mr. Willett, let us speak about your career. We know it spans 50 years from local to masters. How did it grow over those years to you eventually being on? So today we have the pleasure of speaking with cricket icon, His Excellency El Camino Willett, who broke barriers by becoming the first person from the Leeward Islands to make it to the West Indies cricket team. So Mr. Willett, before the break in transmission, and to our viewers, we do sincerely apologize, let us talk about your cricket career. We know it spans over 50 years from local to the masters. So tell us about the journey of cricket.
Yes, as I said, I started playing cricket from maybe the age of 3 or 4 in the village with the bigger boys. And we played cricket all over the place. Wherever we found a suitable spot for a pitch, we didn't worry about the trees or the stones and so on that were around. At school, every break we played cricket. It was cricket, cricket, cricket. Because there weren't many distractions around then. And as I said, I made the Navy team while at the Charleston Boys School.
Mm-hmm.
I got to play one cup match that year in 1969. A cousin of mine, Clinton Willett, he played for the team Spartans, and he left for the Virgin Islands in 1969. He left just before the last cup match, and I got a chance to play in that match. I wasn't really attached to the team, but I was asked to come and play that last cup match. And as I said, I got a few wickets there and was called to trials, and I did fairly well at trials and got into the Navy's team. That's 1969. And in 1971, I made my first class debut. I made the Leeward's team. From my performances in 1971, I got 36 wickets from 3 matches. And those days it was combined islands. It was one playing by itself then. And I participated in the 2 trial matches against the Windwards and got into the combined islands team. That was in 1971, and 2 years after, in 73, I found myself in the West Indies team.
I love how you say that you found yourself in the West Indies.
I guess I did well enough. Because that match, when I got the news, we were playing in St. Vincent, Combined Islands against Jamaica, and there was a bit of an uproar in the stand. They got the news, and they told one of the players on the boundary that I made West Indies team. So the player came to me and told me of the news. We were playing against Jamaica then. I got my best first class regional figures there too against Jamaica.
Congratulations.
In that same match. Yeah, thanks.
Did the motivation come before or after you got the news that you made it to the West Indies?
Well, I noticed that the pitch sort of favored my bowling, so I was happy to be bowling on that pitch, really, in St. Vincent, because, you know, it provided spinners with, you know, some good turn and bounce, you know. So I picked up 6, I think it was 40 runs or 39 runs, 6 for 40, I think it was. And then, yes, well, I got a few. I might have had 3 so before I got the news, and I got a few more to find bowl out. Jamaica, and we won that match against Jamaica in St. Vincent in 1973.
The way that you tell these stories, I feel like I'm there. Honestly, the way that you're talking, you just have a way of describing things. I feel like I was there with you.
Yes, you know, it was exciting then, you know.
So something does get you excited.
Yes, then, you know, making West Indies team.
Yes.
You know, especially for us from the Leeward Islands.
Nice.
You know,
Congratulations on that too.
It was exciting then. You know, thanks.
I gotta ask, when you got back home, knowing that you made the team, first from the Leeward Islands, what was the reception like? What happened once you returned to Nevis when everybody heard that news?
I think I'm motivated. When I made the team, there was a little motorcade, I think.
Oh, nice.
It was either that or when we went back home from the Leeward Islands tournament in '69, there was a little motorcade, I think, too, even though the game ended up badly. You know, in 1969, my first year of tournament, I forgot to mention that the game got messed up when a gentleman, Howell, was batting with Livingston Sargent. He got a really terrible out, you know. He felt cheated and he decided, I'm not going to walk. And the crowds came on and so on and pushed him and so on. We left that same afternoon. We caught a flight that same afternoon and came down. And I think we had a motorcade then. And when I made the squad, the West Indies squad, I think we actually had a motorcade when I got home after that first class tour. The Shell Shield used to call it then, yeah.
Well deserved, sir.
Yeah. So can you tell us about some of your other cricketing highlights throughout your years?
Yeah, well, that same year when I got all those wickets in 1971, the 36 wickets, you know, I got 14 wickets against Antigua. I got 12 against Montserrat and 10 against St. Kitts. But the Montserrat game, you know, Montserrat had 104 runs for 1 wicket at 1 point, and we bowled them off for 114, you know. I'll never forget that. I was bowling at the southern end, and I had none for 29, and then I was changed to the pavilion end, the northern end, and I got 8 wickets for 2 runs in that spell. 8 wickets for 2 runs.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, it happened so dramatically, you know.
8 wickets.
You know, none for 29, and then 8 for 31. 8 wickets for 2 runs. You know, it happened so fast. You know, it was unbelievable.
The look on the batsmen's faces when they had to walk out to face you, I can only imagine.
Well, yeah, some persons, they saw him look really scared, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, I looked really scared because especially the lower half of the batting, after they saw the top batsmen got out so easily, some of the top batsmen got out so easily, I could imagine, yes, you know, what it was like for them.
Plays on your mind.
Did you have any friendly taunts on the field, Mr. Willett?
Friendly
taunts.
Any what?
Friendly taunts. So would you taunt them before they go to the crease to bat?
Friendly
taunts.
Talks.
No, taunts. Like just your look when, like your look or your wink or a smile or something that will get them intimidated.
No, you know, you know, all is easy going and so on, You know, I don't try to intimidate batsmen. You know, some bowlers would talk to batsmen and thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I never did that.
Well, that's why.
You know,
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just did my thing in a quiet way, really. You know, I never really tried to intimidate players.
Okay.
I was going to say that's why it was classy at 50 because you kept it classy. So
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
that's right. You know. And I got on with a number of the players those days from, you know, opposing players, opposing batsmen those days, you know. Like, and then they made their debut in 1969 for Antigua. And, you know, we actually played together for the West Indies when we went to India in 1974. You know, so, you know, up until today we get along very good.
That's nice.
With people like Alfred Corriette and Morgan from Montserrat, Jim Allen and George Allen and so on. And, you know, like Greedy Liebert and Victor Eddy and Luther Kelly and so on from St. Kitts. You know, we got along very good. Because then we came together to play for the Leewards or the Combined Islands. You know, we got along very well.
Nice.
Well, it's good to know that those friendships remain, sir.
Yes, indeed.
In our final moments, unfortunately, we have just about a minute left. I want to know if you could give some advice to anyone out there who thinks that just because we might be from a very small country, we can't do great things based on your own experience. What would you say to people like that?
Well, you know, I would have made it. So any other person from the small islands can do great things too. All they have to do is put in the work.
That's great,
As I said, you know, as I said, it was all cricket. You know, if you want to be a cricketer, you have to play cricket. If you want to be a footballer, you have to play football. You have to dedicate yourself to whatever sport you want to get into, whatever endeavor you want to get into. You have to dedicate yourself.
Thank you, sir. And unfortunately, we have to
don't
leave it there.
Don't let anything, your size of your anything hold you back. Just go for it.
Unfortunately, we have to leave it there, but we want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Very interesting conversation with His Excellency Alchemito Willett. We'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
You are watching Good Morning SKN and welcome back as we continue along. The lines are often blurred between assertiveness and aggressiveness. In this segment of Loosen Up, we will be candidly discussing the differences between these two characteristics. So, Jamie, let me phrase this question in a great way. What do you know the meaning of assertiveness to be?
I was actually waiting for our team to tell me.
but okay, so it's...
Then I'll go with it, yeah.
Okay, so in our lifetimes, we would have encountered these words. So, yeah, what is the difference between the two?
One has a positive connotation, the other one has a negative connotation.
Okay.
In that order.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny how the positive connotation gets the lighter color and the negative one gets the brighter color. Dun, dun, dun. So assertiveness versus aggressiveness. So GMSK Nation, hit us up in the comments and let us know what you know about the differences amongst these two and when they apply.
And we're proceeding to the definitions.
Yeah. So assertiveness, communication that is clear, direct, and constructive. It is built on the understanding that your own needs and another's needs are both important to consider and that both deserve to be respected.
All right, let's itemize these things. Clear, direct, constructive.
Constructive, yes.
With an appreciation that both perspectives should be respected.
Even
So
if you
those
don't,
four
yeah,
elements.
even if you don't believe in the others. And it makes sense. It makes plenty of sense.
And this definition comes from the Manhattan Center for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. Well, aggressiveness. Communicating, where you try to control the behavior of others. You put your own needs first without any consideration of the other person's needs. So you're being aggressive hinges on selfishness, perhaps. That's the subtle difference that I'm picking up.
Yeah.
Your needs from other people's needs.
Yeah, you don't care about the opinion of the other person.
And again, this definition comes from the Manhattan Center for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. Can assertiveness ever progress into aggression?
Yeah, I think so. Because we can start out being assertive. So you say your piece, I'll work with your stuff. And then I say my piece, and you're just like, no, that's not how it is. No. This is what it is, and this is what you should believe. And you shouldn't have, that was your opinion, but I don't believe that opinion, and this is what you should think, because then this is how it goes. So it can end up being a fight show.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When I see the definition of, and if I can see it again, that would be great. If I can see the definition of aggressiveness again. When I ask the question as to whether or not one can progress from assertiveness to aggression, it was really because I could see situations in which, as you said correctly, one starts out being assertive, that respect is there, and it doesn't even have to be in the same conversation, it doesn't have to be at the same time. It could be this history of being assertive that automatically might inform the aggression because there was some frustration that you're not being heard or understood.
In my little acting.
And so it might be that people just decide, I've attempted to be assertive.
Yeah.
You've not appreciated my attempt to be assertive.
So now I'm going to be aggressive.
I know I'm going to be aggressive. And it's not like we turn it on and we say, I'm going to be aggressive now. That's not it at all. I think it's a very subtle transition. I think the line is actually quite thin, and you could be on the boundary of, as a matter of fact, I think that we do dances sometimes. We're actually dancing on the river, on the bank kind of thing as we progress. Now, mind you, if you're on the receiving end of someone's assertiveness, you might actually call it aggressiveness just because you're on the receiving end of it. So it depends. It might be a matter of perspective too. Because we call things what they might not be based on our experiences.
But I
think they are.
Okay, but I'm going on the part of the person's getting aggressive on the actions, the tone of voice, their body language. That's how I'm moving on the...
Don't look at me in that tone of voice. I'm kidding. We used to say
Exactly, yeah, because even children, sometimes you see them like they're ready to fight and their little self just down there and they're tensing up because they're angry. And you have to be, what's wrong with you? Relax, relax, put a smile on your face, reopen your hands.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Listen, you see the little thing in the corner watching it, you're like, listen, these kids, oh my God. But we were just having fun, but now you're upset because you can't have your way. So, yeah.
All right, so I tried to do this before, a little bit, focusing on the differences. Now we're going to do it in a more itemized way. Let's look at the differences between the two. Assertiveness. Having a confident and self-assured attitude about one's opinions. Having a confident and self-assured attitude about one's opinions. So these opinions are mine. The difference.
Versus aggressiveness, overestimating one's opinion and underestimating the opinion of others. And in my little skit, that's exactly what I said. Yeah.
So it's a case where we can both be right.
But you think your opinion trumps mine.
Or we could agree to disagree while respecting each other.
If that can happen, because now the aggressiveness begins to show. Because I have facts. Look at this. I pulled up this, but that can be wrong. No, this is never wrong. This is the right thing.
Here's how I deal with that. I don't care.
But not everybody has your personality.
I don't have time to care.
They will be like, but imagine the person that's assertive. But no, you have to understand that those things that you find sometimes, they're not correct. So you have to do the in-depth research. But I'm telling you, I did in-depth research. And this is what my in-depth research showed up. Yeah.
This is all very interesting to me. It's not, actually, honestly, I'll confess this. It's actually a little humorous. Because, as you can see, you can be confident and self-assured about your opinion, but the other person might want you to be confident and assured in their opinion.
Yeah.
And so if you can't make that jump, doesn't mean that you don't respect their opinion, but maybe they're just looking for validation. And if that's the case, then that need to be validated might inform their aggression.
Yeah. Because then you're, as I just rightfully said, you're telling them, maybe the site that they look on doesn't always have the correct information, and you're agreeing that they did some research, but the research is incorrect.
I love the way you use very specific examples. I'm sorry, scenarios. I don't know if they're examples or not.
I'm just trying to, because I think that's how assertiveness turns into aggression. Yeah. Because as you said, we start out being respectful, but then somebody says something that makes the other person maybe feel small or belittled, and stories that. Like my voice is starting, try to disappear, stories that, yeah.
Could you ever, this is the thing, because to me, I think it's a matter of semantics. Having a confident and self-assured attitude about one's opinions versus, look at that first word under aggressive, overestimating one's opinions. So the question is, at which point does a confident and self-assured attitude change to an overestimation of one's opinions?
And that's why I look at it that way, because although assertiveness has that definition, that self-assured can maybe come off as aggressiveness sometimes. That's why people might say...
Really? I don't think so, because I can say, well, that's what I believe. It doesn't mean that I'm saying you're wrong, because I think the transition would be, that's what I believe, and I'm right, you're wrong, versus, well, that's what I believe. I'm entitled to my opinion, and you're entitled to yours, and we leave it there.
But self-assured to me, you may not see it, but self-assured to me and overestimating is like, yeah, I'm self-assured. I know this is what it is, if you can feel me in that sense.
You know what, I don't.
Okay.
Because I can't see the overestimating without the underestimating of the other's opinions.
Okay.
Because they go hand in hand, right? So you can be self-assured, but you don't necessarily discredit someone else's opinion. So you just know this is what you believe and you're fine with it. You're confident with it. Nothing wrong with that. The minute when it begins to go into the territory of, I'm right and you're wrong, or that sort of thing, it's like, why do you have to try to convince people? I don't know. Just
like when we're debating, and not our debates, but I mean the actual debate. When we are voting, say we're voting for college presidents, let's pretend we're in university now, would they need to debate for us to make a informed or a valid decision as to why is it Jamie should be president and why is it Hortensia should be president?
Why don't we have debates here where things that matter to us in terms of the political arena?
Yeah.
That's the other thing, because you're asking that question in terms of the college perspective, but I think that to answer your question, I long to see debate here because I think it's important for us to understand how people would stand up to pressure. And by the way, you might actually see some aggression come to the point.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be assertive, and then you'll see the aggressive. But the aggressive, listen, even when they're campaigning, they're assertive. But then get one wrong rub, and then the aggressiveness comes out.
Amazing.
I bet you I catch him over there. Like,
you ever notice how much crosstalk happens through social media that doesn't happen in a moderated forum?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the topic at hand, which is related in aggressiveness. Sorry. So the tone is overly loud and hostile. But that's just the way that I speak. What are you talking about? I'm kidding. Aren't I loud all the time?
No.
Like, seriously. And you get it. And it's, there's more to it than that, though, because I know that it's very difficult to speak with a loud voice and not have your face follow. Right? So you're going to be doing certain things. Your body is going to conform to your tone. Because
you can be speaking loudly in a session. Because what if your friend is all the way up the street? And we had no hold on, and you're overly loud because you're trying to get your friend attention. Hey, fella over there, right? But you're not being aggressive. But then you're in this situation, and because you think that your overestimated opinion is not being validated, and I said what I said, and this is the end of it.
You know how we can put an end to this? Just, how do I put this nicely? I'm looking for a very professional way. How do you professionally say it never makes sense to argue with someone who doesn't understand what you're trying to say? It really doesn't. If you try to convince that person, you'll go down the avenue of aggression.
Yeah, so you just quietly not say anything, or you said, today is not the day for me to be aggressive with you, so I will take my assertiveness and I will leave this situation in peace.
Well, there's that, although you don't always get to say that. Sometimes you've got to clam up, you know.
But I don't want to clam up because my shell might stay closed. I want to open.
Assertiveness here. The tone is composed and relaxed.
Yes, like I just demonstrated.
Some people count to 10 for that. Some people are looking at you and they're taking deep breaths. And they're, I don't know, singing a calming melody in their minds as you talk. So all they see you do is...
Yep.
I don't know, I guess it helps to remove yourself from the situation at times. Or at least not to take things so personally.
Yeah, that's the next thing too. Don't take things too personally. You see the aggressor, the tone is overly loud and hostile. And then the finger comes out. And then the head movement comes out.
Listen.
And then everything comes out.
A lot of things are glamorized based on reality TV, and I feel so ashamed sometimes based on what I see. And
reality TV is a fraud.
Represents us.
I know.
And so the way that people talk, the way they talk with their hands, they talk with the glasses on the table that they're going to throw, and all those other things.
The water,
it's like, how did this become normal behavior? And
normal glamorized behavior, because everybody want to do the same thing they see the television persons on television.
And it's ratings, right? If you think about it, when people do these sorts of things, you'd rather...
But it's not, I don't understand, and you're correct, it's for ratings, but how do you manage to garner ratings treating a fellow man bad? By throwing a drink in their face, or by pulling their hair, or by calling them out of their names.
Are you kidding? It's sensational.
This is why I don't watch TV, y'all.
I'm from the Jerry Springer generation, okay? When Oprah Winfrey was on, and other people would be watching Oprah. And by the way, Phil Donahue, I'm aging myself here, but great talk shows, Montel Williams, etc. But when Jerry Springer came on, I actually wrote a paper on Jerry Springer when I was in sixth form.
He swore he took all the views.
And I just created this topic. I'm like, these things are so sensational, right? And I could literally have come up with topics for Jerry Springer that Jerry Springer himself didn't do because they were so outlandish. And it's like, yeah, Jerry Springer would do this. The point is, you do these things because you get ratings. People are inherently interested in things that seem so far out that they go, oh, I can't believe this is happening. And so we become enthralled by things like that. And so that's normalized behavior, aggression that you see.
Yeah.
You'd rather watch that than, two people having a conversation. Hey, let's start being aggressive. Let's see how that goes. No, please don't.
Because I remember reading an article with Oprah when she started her morning show. She eventually beat out Phil Donahue, but because she weren't talking on current and spicy topics, her ratings dropped. But she continued along the line, and she eventually built back up her repertoire of viewers. But you see, people because look at the radio station, and I'm not bashing anybody, but you see when the guys have the afternoon chat, every car that pass you on blast and loud, because they want to be, they just like stuff like that, literally. So there is sometimes the voices over the cars is like a big confusion, but you know everybody's in tune at this particular hour of the afternoon on their way home to a radio station just to get the jokes, just to get the vibes, because that's what they like.
Wow, that's a whole other conversation for what media needs to be doing.
Yeah.
I have opinions which I'm keeping to myself, obviously.
Alrighty, so assertiveness expresses thoughts and feelings in a way that does not violate the rights of others. Yeah.
Wow.
And look at this. Dun, dun, dun. The aggressiveness expresses thoughts and feelings that in a way violate the rights of others. Yes, because you are not better than me. And I went to school for this. So you need to listen to me.
You're violating my right if you batter me by throwing water on me or tapping me inappropriately, all those sorts of things.
Or pulling my wig.
Yes.
Don't pull my wig.
Honestly.
Yeah.
These people don't pull your wig. Seriously. Wow.
Yeah, but Jimmy, that's what it
wigs
is.
Are expensive, aren't they?
I know. plus, you're gonna take out my edges. Come on, I need my edges. You cannot be pulling my wig. Respect me.
Wow.
Yeah. Look at life, huh? We live in a very aggressive world these days. People are hardly ever assertive because, as I said, when I watch television, and there was this one show that I watched, Basketball Wives, they start off assertive, they start off talking nice, but boy, that got aggressive pretty fast.
Well, we're talking about it because we have the definitions in which we can have that conversation, right, in the context of those definitions. But I believe that there are people who actually confuse the two. They think that when somebody's being assertive, they're actually being aggressive.
No.
And they're not necessarily being aggressive, they're just being assertive. But if you're not accustomed to people being assertive,
then you're going to say they're being aggressive.
Then you're going to say they're being aggressive.
That is correct.
The other thing is that with aggressiveness, or rather with assertion, it can cross that line where people feel they're disrespected, and so all of a sudden you are disrespectful because you're being assertive. It's a balance. It's a delicate balance, which I think.
And that's why I say
you guys who are in human resources, because there are a lot of things that you are doing.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that you're not doing that you need to. But hey, I'm serious.
Just saying. I'll be just saying. But then for just to add to what you said, when you're quiet and you don't speak up, the day you speak up, you're the aggressor, huh? Because they're not accustomed to you speaking up. Yep. So they're gonna confuse you too. So guys, now that we know the difference, Jamie, what do you say to that?
We go to commercial.
Yes, we're gonna be assertive as we go to commercial. See you in a bit.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
各位朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
For this segment of Quote of the Day, Cortensi and I will be looking at a quote by Bob Marley. All right. I kind of think we should be listening to a quote by Bob Marley. Anyway, like, you know, can we get the guitars?
You didn't see me. I started jigging, literally.
Right. So here is the quote by Bob Marley. It reads, "Judge not before you judge yourself. Judge not if you're not ready for judgment." Gotta repeat that. Judge not before you judge yourself. Judge not if you're not ready for judgment.
Okay.
Can I paraphrase that?
Please do.
I feel like I need to paraphrase that. So don't judge anybody before you judge yourself. And don't judge at all if you're not ready to be judged.
Yeah.
Okay.
But doesn't the Bible tell us that too? Judge not. We are not the judge.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. We judge every day.
We do. We do. But I mean, we are told we shouldn't, and we do it all the time. Why is it necessary for us to judge, though?
Well, we have to make decisions, but the question is, you know, in which context are you judging, and are you authorized to judge? So there's the quote again by Bob Marley. Judge not before you judge yourself. Judge not if you're not ready for judgment.
How does a judge deal with this kind of a quote?
You know, it was very...
Jeez.
How does a judge deal with this kind of quote? What do you mean? If you again go back to biblical times, Solomon was the wisest man, and he was also a
judge.
So judges operate with wisdom.
Wisdom.
There you go.
Wow.
No, I think the pitfall would be that a lot of us judge and we're not necessarily wise. But hey, it is what it is. So my first thoughts on this quote is definitely right. I remember saying, and I'll put it this way, when you point one finger at someone, I think this was something that I learned in school, perhaps in civics, so a lot of the younger people probably would remember this as well, not the older ones. When you point one finger at someone, you've got four pointing back at you. I'm doing it so that you can actually see what's going on here. This is coming back, that's coming back, that's coming back, that's coming back at me, but I'm pointing a finger at you. You realize what happens here in terms of the proportion.
Wow. Yeah, we really have to be careful when we judge people, because even in the Bible too, it says, before you judge somebody, take the plank out of your eye. So look at your situation before you cast judgment.
Why? It's more fun to talk about you. I want to deflect. You know, it's like, hey, there's a tsunami coming over here, but I'll just throw a rock in your swimming pool and I'll say, look at that. It's unstable. It's just...
It's swimming pool's unstable? Oh my God. So, okay, my swimming pool.
Somebody's trouble in the water.
No, but we're supposed to look at ourselves and, why is it so easy for us to judge though? Even without knowing the facts of the situation. Who are we?
That's a very good question. Who are we?
My gosh.
You know what? We love sensationalism. And you know one of the things, and we've talked about it here before, because a lot of us, I guess, judge through chains of conversation. We don't even realize we're doing it. You know what we say? They say.
Yeah, school children.
School children. We talked about it recently. It's like, and we just continue that, and we're judging because it's like, well, I don't know if it's true, but they say
because the school children say it,
If you don't know if it's true, you shouldn't repeat
say it. Yeah.
And the other thing is that you're taking responsibility away from yourself for saying it, because you're saying, well, although I'm saying it to you, I'm not actually saying
I'm not the person that came up with it. Yep.
So they're responsible for my telling you what I'm telling you, because they're the ones who said it, even though you're hearing it from me. That makes
You see? The same thing I said yesterday, you know. Good food tastes like cardboard. And gossip, which is not bad for you, tastes good.
Yeah, we just like to wallow in things that are because it's so exciting, right? Imagine we're
at the moment, and you know it changes. It changes because you know, like what we learned in school with pass the story along the chain, and it changes. It changes because they're gonna say school train say, and then you're gonna next thing you will hear school train get a name, and then the other person gonna give the other thing a name, and they're gonna just keep going because school train gonna change eventually. It ain't gonna be school children.
And this is a funny thing. I've never heard anybody name school children. So I'm glad that you have, because all I've heard is school children. And you know when I hear that a lot? On the radio.
School children.
Same thing that you said. Again, not responsible for what they're saying, because they're blaming it on someone else while they're getting the point across that they want to get across, which is something salacious. Something not necessarily rooted in fact, something that they can't, to quote Paul Ferguson from the days he was hosting Voices, substantiate. Right?
Yeah, substantiate.
It's just one of those things. It's like, honestly, nobody wants to take credit for what they say anymore. They just want to.
But what if they didn't say it and they're just passing it on because it's juicy gossip? You didn't hear? You didn't hear? Just like when you watch reality TV, right? Like when I watch television, and their storylines is basically built on gossip. If you realize, because I'm gonna say. Paper Bag is pretending like she's got so much, and look, now she's heading to jail. And then it's a big thing. Oh, so Paper Bag, I heard you, there's a lawyer letter out for you. Is that true? Because when me and the Rams Plastic Bag was having a talk, this is what it said, you know? And then it's a big...
They'll say that to the Paper Bag?
What? And then there's a big fight around the table, so they go to the plastic bag from Target everywhere. Let me tell you. And then it's a big... She said, and then at the reunion shows when I used to watch television, Jesus, but it's you were the one to tell me.
Yeah, nobody ever claims that, right?
I didn't say that.
Wow.
You brought up the story first because we were having drinks, so maybe you were drunk, and it's just a whole mess.
I want to add something to this conversation that I didn't add before, because we talked about judging, and again, the quote reads, judge not before you judge yourself. Judge not if you're not ready for judgment. But we tend to think that judgment has to be spoken.
Yeah.
Judgment can actually be displayed. It doesn't necessarily have to be spoken. You know those people who have ears for whatever reason? You know those people who operate a certain way without actually saying, there's some judgments.
They just watch you.
There's some judgments.
Yeah. But what if, and there's an next thing too, Jamie. I'm going to come and tell you something about Paper Bag, right? And you don't know Paper Bag, right? But you are going to take up what I told you about Paper Bag without getting to know Paper Bag. So you are going on what I told you about Paper Bag. So you're not learning Paper Bag for yourself. So the judgment I cast on Paper Bag, you pick up that same judgment and you're running with it.
Hortensia, you are speaking to the choir. You are speaking to the choir. All right? Because there are certain people, and this is what they do when they have social media at their disposal. No need to verify anything. When I tell you that you are speaking to the choir, I was one who was defamed.
Wow.
And I got angry.
You got aggressive? You were supposed to remain assertive.
I got aggressive. I got angry.
Wow.
And you know what? Yeah. We're working.
Yeah.
But suffice it to say, what I appreciate is that in an age where social media usage is rampant, then the risk of abusing it is also rampant. And so a lot of these judgments don't necessarily have to be spoken face to face either. They are displayed for the world to see on social media through accounts that actually could be credited to, or, you know, basically, how do I say this, assigned to named individuals. But there could also be people operating under aliases.
Yeah, exactly. Falsies account.
And doing all of these different things. And, you know, hey, when I tell you I don't care, I really don't care. I got here.
It's crazy.
I got here through desensitizing myself from a lot of things, realizing, I guess this may be a lesson for some of you who might be going through judgments which really ought not to fall your way at all, but people don't know what they're talking about, and they talk about it anyway. You just got to know who you are, and you just have to find your strength and really don't care, because for whatever reason, I don't know why we are this way as a people, but we find it very easy. We're tribal. We'll pull each other down very easily with a them say and a he said and a she said, and before you know it, it's like a fire of a clan, the conversation that could be very destructive. Fire is destructive, right? And it's just very interesting how that happens. So as someone who's lived it, I appreciate how it happens. The path that I'm on now. You get where I'm going with it?
I'm looking at his eyes like,
you get where I'm going with it, because everything informs everything else. And so without saying what that path is, suffice it to say that the path that I am on now allows me to understand how to right those wrongs for other people who might be going through those things and more. So sometimes things happen to you that cause you to live for more than yourself, and you find meaning in it, so that you don't want to cause pain or help other people cause pain, or even not even just helping, but be quiet when other people are going through pain. Because a lot of you out there perhaps know of people who are being judged, and instead of speaking up and saying that's not right, what do? You say nothing because you don't want the attention, right? So.
And then you said, but I didn't say anything. I was just there. But as they say, being there makes you just as guilty as those who are there. So what would my best advice be? Leave the room.
Are you kidding? You want to put handcuffs on me? I didn't say anything. I didn't do it. What are you talking about?
Leave the room. Yeah, I didn't say it. For real. I was just there and they were talking. I was just focusing on my work. I don't know. I can't even tell you what they had said. Lord knows.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
One of the lessons that I've learned in this life, seriously, is that, and I guess this is a lesson for just about everybody. Sometimes you might be going through hell from other people, and you don't understand why you're going through it. And years later, you'd realize there's a light bulb that goes off or something, and you go, oh, it was this. It was that moment that they saw coming that they didn't want to come. That moment of greatness or whatever that you didn't even realize. And so it's like, let's put an end to it.
No.
I mean, if you believe in spirituality, which a lot of people do, just say that some people are doing the devil's work. So if you believe that, let's forget that side of it, and let's just all be angels. Let's help each other, let's guide each other, let's uplift each other. We've got the
angels on earth.
Let's do that.
What wings? The carnival ones?
Well, everybody seems to love angels and feathers, don't they? I mean, seriously, man. Do the angels actually do those moves? I hope not, but hey.
Well, you never know. On the day of Pentecost, the angels probably, shake a little shoulder. Never know.
I've seen a couple of moves in church. That's not a story.
Listen, did you see the latest meme with the lady that, how can I concentrate when this lady's in front of me in church? Jamie, she's got more waist than anything. I don't know, the music was hitting, sister, right?
Yeah. I think you better go outside. How about that?
Don't let the devil tempt you. Go outside. Don't judge sister. You never know. Sister might be dancing off all her problems. So don't judge the sister. Don't say she came from the streets. You don't know where she came from. So don't judge sister, so you will not be judged. So as I always say, let us be nice to each other, okay?
Sorry.
But I just gotta say,
Be Ray Charles for a moment, right? Put the glasses on, close your eyes.
Don't see a thing.
Do something. Anything.
Don't see a thing. Yeah.
Anything. All right.
Yeah. More after this break. Stay tuned.
take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango.
So a few weeks ago, we discussed some you had to be there moments from the 80s. So today we are hopping into our time machine again to review some things 80s kids will remember.
Hang on. Sorry.
Where are you going hopping? Where are you going hopping?
We were hopping.
So let's see how much of them will cause some nostalgia to surface. Yeah, he was just about to go
hop into the time
machine, but
you said that we were hopping.
Lord.
Let's imagine that we hopped. Right?
Yeah, we hopped.
All right, so we're already there.
Jamie will be judged for jumping in your time. Judged. Let's see, be judged. Ooh. Oh, listen. My favorite phrase is bomb.com. I enjoy tearing off the sides of those. I don't know why. Like, my favorite part of bills, although I hate paying them, is tearing off the perforated side. I enjoy doing it to the water bill and the electricity bill. Oh my God. Y'all, would you believe that? Something about it. I got excited over paper, wow.
You guys are aging us because I didn't realize that this was no longer a thing. So I'm reading the caption, I'm like, oh, 80s kids. Wow. So this is, from 80s, 90s, whatever. I remember the paper, I just didn't think it was outdated.
Boy, when last you see that and you remember the writing on it? You remember the square writing that used to come out on it? It didn't have like the bold fonts and stuff. You remember the weird writing? Because I think... You don't remember this paper?
Listen, first access to a computer I had I was around...
remember electricity bill used to come on this paper too,
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what's familiar. Yeah. Yes, that's what's familiar about it.
I remember when we used to get cable bill. Well, we don't get cable bill, but I like tearing open the cable bill as well. Because, confession every day. I just like tearing perforated stuff. And I like popping, the plastic bubbles. Oh my gosh, when I get that, see me walking around the house and twisting it, popping it.
Yeah, that one was a different one. This is not a thing. This needs to be in a museum somewhere.
Yeah, it needs to.
Anymore. Wow.
It needs to. And two, I think it was, let me make sure I'm saying the right. Is it carbon? Can I say carbon? Is it carbonated? Remember when you wrote on it? Carbon copy, yeah. Because remember
it. Do that for receipt books. It's still there.
Yeah.
You can get a copy of that, downtown.
Yo, but this was, oh my God. Yeah. Ooh, who didn't have jelly shoes? Who didn't have the jelly shoe ever need to come back?
I remember that. Yeah, I probably was single digits when I last had a pair.
I had jelly shoes, and then when the jelly shoes came back, when they had them with the little fancy styles, again, I had jelly shoes. Every time I went to Puerto Rico, we went down to, what is it called? Oh my gosh. It's Old San Juan? Yeah, boy, and we had jelly shoe fiascos, listen, I had all styles and colors. Wow. I wish I took more pictures, then I could have my proof, or my proof's in my head, and the people that know me can say, yeah. But even some fishermen still have the ice gold and green color jelly shoes on the bay front. Yes. Listen, GMSK Nation, tell us which of these you had in the comments. Jamie, remember when instead of saying neon colors, you used to say shocking colors?
No, I don't remember that.
You don't?
I said neon colors.
Oh, why you gotta be so bushy? You don't remember shocking color?
I said neon color.
Shocking color was the thing.
Never
shocking.
heard of that.
What? You never
heard of that.
Y'all, don't ask me why they said shocking color though. I don't know. Maybe because colors are out of this world to like shock you.
Teenage Mutant Shocking Turtle.
No.
Ninja, not neon.
Jamie, no.
All right, so we've got Soul Huckers.
You remember those, right?
Is this Mr. Potato Head or Super Mario gone wrong? What's going on there in the back? I don't know. I remember the zebra. I can see the globe. Okay.
That's a globe or that's the egg? It looks like an egg. Oh yeah, I see the globe in the front. But the globe got rabbit ears, or one of them have on a rabbit, turtle, King
These
Kong.
things are cool though. Like,
yeah.
You get it.
You have one of that.
Soul Huggers. Weren't they like erasers? Didn't you?
No, you just put them on over the eraser.
What's the point? Okay.
Just to show that you had a pencil hug and be fancy. Because to me, having certain things elevated your status in school.
Really?
Yes. You didn't know?
No, I didn't.
Jamie, to have an HB pencil, do we ever speak about the type of pencil that we have now? Imagine we paid attention to the importance of having an HB.
Yeah, if you did certain subjects, or if you had to fill.
Which kid today you hear talk about the HB pencil, Jamie? Jamie, that was a hit to have a red and white pencil. Listen.
Children outside of my family.
But Jamie, the kids don't talk about the difference in the pencils now, man. Imagine when you first got your pencil with the push point, you're so excited because you know you've upgraded. Your friend still has to sharpen theirs. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, you had a certain
These things brought status. Okay, good to know. Guys, it was that easy. Okay, get a pencil hugger.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Remember this?
Of course.
Yep. It comes around, and then the star comes out. Oh man.
And everything else that it represented. All the Hanna-Barbera shows.
Yep. Listen, those were the days of the good cartoons. You saw that when you saw the Flintstones, etc., etc., etc. Imagine getting around just.
And be like, who's the Flintstones? These people.
I know, right? What are these? I'm not.
Serendipity books.
I don't remember these. I actually don't remember these.
So you got Crickle Crack.
Ooh, I see a snake.
Krabby Gabby.
Believe it or not, I skipped this.
There's Fanny.
Oh my gosh. I don't remember these.
This is playing on my allergy to cats. I don't have an allergy to cats, by the way, but I just felt the sneeze coming. Whiskers was there. Oh, don't.
These are still in style.
Don't.
Your confession. So my husband aunt had a few of these, and the other day when the cover fell down, they finally broke. But some of the covers survive. Like but the dishes are gone now. So yeah. But yeah, these were the hit.
Yeah, that one.
And two, they were hardly use ornaments for you to wash when Christmas come. Like anybody tell you to buy all them things to give us work to do. Oh my God. And imagine this.
I sense a little bit of aggression.
But yes, this is the aggression. And imagine this, y'all. The cabinet is locked all year with a key that they kept. Yes, the mothers kept. But yet still at Christmas, you have to take out all them things and wash it. And still shine the shelf. And guess what, y'all? Put them back in the order that was in. How did we remember that order? How did we remember that order?
Is there anybody else thinking Gretchen needs to count to 10?
Let me get back to being assertive now. But Jamie, did you remember the days when they covered the chair in plastic too? And you're sitting on the chair and you basically
nobody in my house did that, but seriously, I visited people who did.
Yeah, you literally sliding out the chair.
You bought the chair, enjoy the chair.
No,
don't
cover the chair
with plastic as if it's not to be touched. What is the point?
It's not to be touched, just like them dishes. Like I was talking to my friend in Antigua the other day, and he was like, "Is his dad's birthday?" And they're trying to get their mom to open the cabinet. She still holds on to a key, right? And this is somebody that's in his 30s, and she's fussing to give them 7 glasses, and then by the time she gives them the glasses, every minute all I hear is, "Yo, make sure you wash and put back my glasses in the cabinet," you know. Yeah.
All right. Well, apparently, this is it for the time machine.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, when you guys weren't watching us, we actually hopped back to the present. So we're in 2023 now, and we're here to thank you for joining us today for another edition of GMSKN. Tune in daily to find a little bit of everything for everyone. You know what? If you missed it, you forgot to tune in, we're all over the place. You can find us. Here's how you can find us on our social media platforms, right? So we're on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram at Studio327 Inc. We're also on Instagram at, well, it's right at the bottom of the screen. It's like Good Morning SKN. You can find us there. Good Morning SKN. So like, subscribe, follow, and share, and visit our website at Studio327Inc.com to learn more about us.
Yep, and leave us a comment. And remember, as Jamie said, subscribe. Thank you for those of you who are subscribing. We really appreciate it. Yes, we do. So leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show, and see you tomorrow on our Friday show at 8 a.m. when you will wake up bright and early. Turn on your device or your television, grab yourself a coffee, stretch, and start your morning with us right here at Good Morning SKN. As usual, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a great day. And for those parents of today, I hope you would have thrown away that cabinet of dishes already. Bye.